Going to be a busy month, Kentucky Dave.
Yes, it is, in many ways.
Well, folks, you may have been expecting episode 163 by now. We got some issues, man.
A day or two, it's not much.
Not much. Well, no, we actually have elected to slide it out almost a week from when it most likely would have dropped in prior months, primarily because it seems like all the other shows have kind of drifted into the same week, and just trying to
spread things out,
help the listenership of all the shows out a little bit by putting the gap back in place, which I think will benefit everybody.
Yep.
But not to leave you want for something here in this second week of May. We had an interesting chat with Brandon Lowe of Squadron.
An extremely interesting chat.
He's been on several times before. We've been trying to get him back on here for a while now, but just hasn't worked out. He's been busy and we've been busy, and we've been to shows. We saw him at AMPS, which was nice. We did get a chance to talk to him there, but
we had a nice time at AMPS.
We did not get to do the segment at AMPS, and I didn't really want to do it at AMPS anyway, so it's all good.
Yep.
Well, let's not waste any more time, Dave. Let's just get right into our conversation with Brandon.
All right.
Well, Dave, I think I said it before, and he actually denied it, but I think we've got one of the busiest men in the scale model sphere on the line with us again. One of our sponsors, Brandon Lowe from Squadron. Brandon, how you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. How are you guys?
We've been busy too, so you're not the only one. It's been a crazy couple of weeks since AMPS, or 3 weeks. I don't even know how long it's been at this point. It was good seeing you up there.
3 weeks, I guess, maybe 4.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. It seems, I don't know, part of me seems like it was an eternity ago, and the other part of me feels like I just got back yesterday. So
and now less than 3 weeks to Wonderfest.
That is true, and then I'm kind of crazy, and I've thrown another one in the mix. Actually, next week I'm going down to Atlanta to the Wonder Festival, which is part of MomoCon, which is going to be totally different than any shows I've ever done, but we'll see how that goes too.
I'm going to have a little more info. What show is that?
So Wonder Fest that we know in Louisville, and if I understand correctly, they kind of looked at Wonder Festival as a good idea back in the day. Wonder Festival is a figure show in Japan.
Yes.
And they are coming to the United States for the first time this year to do their show. And they are doing it alongside MomoCon, which is, I don't know, kind of like a Comic-Con, I guess you could say.
Okay.
It's in Atlanta.
That makes sense.
One of those big things. But the Wonder Festival is taking place right in the middle of it. And we've got a vendor booth or table or whatever. And we're going to go down and see what it's all about. Take some figures and some of our paint and tools and things like that, and see what's going on down there.
I look forward to talking to you at Wonderfest about your experience there, man.
Well, we will see. We're going down there next week, and we will get back, and 2 days later we turn around and head to Louisville. So it's going to be a busy couple of weeks for sure, but we're looking forward to it.
Well, when we first tried to get you back here, man, we've been busy and you've been busy, and it's all good. But at that time, some of this 3D stuff was still to be released. Some of it is released now.
Yeah.
Primarily, the ones that I was curious about was the Cletrac, the little 48 scale kit you guys are doing. And then the other one, is it an M5 high-speed tractor or M4? I can't remember.
M5 high-speed tractor.
Okay, and that one's in 35th scale.
Yeah, and people ask, well, what about this scale or what about that scale? And obviously the goal would be to do them in multiple scales. That's one of the advantages of 3D design and 3D printing. But like you said, the M2 Cletrac, which if you guys are not familiar with, was the little tractor that they used on the airstrips to pull the bombers and fighters and whatnot around, kind of trolley them around the airfields. And we're doing that in 48 scale because of that reason. You build a 48 scale B-17 or P-47 or whatever you're building, you can have a little Cletrac to pull it around.
And I don't think that's ever been done before, has it?
Not yes and no. It was actually included in a very old monogram kit way back in the day. I forget if it was a B-29 or
it was the B-24.
B-24?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it was included in that, and it was fine for the time, but to my knowledge, like you, Dave, I don't recall it ever being released as a standalone kit. So we've done that, and we kinda introduced it. We had them at AMPS, and we had them a few weeks before that on the website and whatnot, and we kinda introduced it at a relatively low price for a, 3D kit, but we were kinda testing the waters with it, and we got some very good feedback from it, mostly good. A few little, hey, if you had done this or if you had done that. So we took that feedback and we've gone back to the drawing board, not necessarily from the design standpoint, but more from the production standpoint, to make that kit better, but also take these comments from customers and potentially make all of our future kits better, starting with the M5 high speed tractor, which of course will be the next release after this. And so we're just always into something. Of course, the 3D part of our business is certainly just a small, for a lack of a better way to put it, a fun portion of our business. A lot of the guys that work at Squadron, we are modelers, and we like being creative. So we've got a good team of designers and guys that work on the machines and all that. And it's fun to produce your own concepts and to see things. You're sitting around, hey, we should do an M2 Cletrac. And then, a little while later, poof, there it is. And customers are buying them and building them and painting them. And it's really, really neat to see basically ideas that started from within the shop come to life through customers. So that's kind of just a fun thing that we're doing, and it will certainly grow in time. Right now, we've got probably got more things announced and things that we've talked about than are actually available, but that'll change as time goes here in the next few weeks and months.
Well, I was Oogling the M5 at AMPS.
Hmm.
What's the perspective timeline for that one?
That one was a prototype
Yep.
that was built up there that we had on display, and it is, for the most part, kind of ready to go. There's a few tweaks left to be made on it, and then it's just a matter of getting it set up to go into production. There were several things that we announced back in January in our Squadron digital catalog. Those two kits included the M2, the M5. There was a couple of submarines and various other things, and ever since we did that, we've had prototypes out. We've let people in the industry and friends have these, or be able to get a hold of one, so to speak, test build them, and just kind of, before we throw them out there to everybody, we want to just make sure that what we have to offer from a production standpoint is good. But to answer your specific question on that one, we are hoping, fingers crossed, to have our full official release of that kit and the official release of the M2 at the IPMS Nationals this year. There have been a lot of people that have got their hands on the M2. Like I said, that was kind of the test of the waters prototype version, real cheap introduction price kind of thing. And overall, it's been good. What it's shown us mostly is that there is a market for these things, and people like the ideas that our team has come up with. So we're going to build on that and see what we can do with it in the future with these two releases and several others that we've got planned.
Well, it did seem up at AMPS that the reaction to both those kits was very, very positive. I talked to a number of people who mentioned it. I didn't bring it up, but mentioned it to me. Have you seen that? So I would imagine that you're going to have some built up demand for both of those.
Yeah, and it was really neat to see the interest in it. I mean, they're certainly interesting vehicles, but we didn't really know what to expect. I mean, are we going to sell a couple dozen, a couple hundred? You just don't know what to
Right.
expect. So being able to have those prototypes built up and on display at AMPS really kind of showed us that people are interested in this kind of, I hate to call it an odd subject, but it's not a Sherman, it's not a Tiger. It's just these little cool vehicles that are excellent additions to any collection. If you're an armor modeler, you've built all the home runs, and these will be interesting subjects that fill little holes in your shelf that perhaps you've never even thought about adding to your collection.
Absolutely. And are visually in many ways more interesting.
Sure.
I've also noticed a lot of 3D. I think most of it's like naval ordnance and stuff. You guys have been selling the Squadron banner.
Yes.
Now, is that from your
Yeah.
shop, or have you inherited that from one of your acquisitions? Or
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. It actually starts many, many, many years ago, about 20 years ago, actually, when we first started as free time hobbies. Of course, our main thing we did, or heck, back then, all we did was ship models. And a few years after that, we acquired Yankee Model Works and Blue Water Navy and several of those other brands, and we rolled all that into Blue Ridge Models, which was at the time our shop was located in Blue Ridge, Georgia, so that's why we called it that. And that time, it was about 2012 or 13, somewhere right in there. 3D printing was really, really new at that time, but we were able to come up with a full range of 700 scale accessories. We sold those and printed and sold those for years, and it was really good. So when we got back into this now with Squadron and we decided we're going to do 3D printing, we decided, hey, 3D printers have come a long way since back then. There's still a customer base that we have for these items. Why don't we do it again? Except this time we'll do it in all scales. And we decided to start with 350th scale. And just like the M2, we threw some things out there, some 20 millimeter guns, some 40 quads, some just various things. Got a lot of good feedback, but again, had some not issues, but little things that we decided through talking to some of our customers, hey, if you do this, this, or this, it'd be awesome. So go back to the drawing board. And again, we're looking forward to nationals this year to hopefully have our official release of this is what everything's going to look like into the future. And we've literally got dozens of designs. I mean, heck, just with the 20 millimeter guns, there were so many versions of that thing. I think we've got somewhere between 10 and 20 different versions of that in 350th scale with different gun shields and different sights and all this stuff. So it's gonna be really neat. After we acquired Iron Shipwrights, of course, that came with all sorts of other subject matters from full ship kits all the way on down to, submarines and everything else, and, of course, all the guns and weapons and equipment and whatnot on those ships can certainly be stripped out to sell as aftermarket accessories. So, we've got big plans. We've announced some things in some of our catalogs and kind of just threw some Easter eggs out, if you will, just to kind of test the waters, see if this is something customers are really going to be interested in before we really put forth the time and effort and money to make this happen. But from what we've seen so far, I think that people are really interested in what we have planned, and we're going to make a go with it one way or the other. And like I said, hopefully at Nationals this year in Fort Wayne is where we'll really be able to show people what we're capable of, and it'll be a make or break show for us. People will either like it or they won't, but at that point they will have at least seen it.
Can't wait to see it.
Well, at least with 3D print, you've got some capital investment there, but it's not quite like a piece of injection molded tooling.
No, it's not, and a lot of people have this time, it's easy. A lot of people have one or two or maybe even three printers at your house. But, well, you've seen how we go to the shows and kind of go big or go home. So you can probably imagine what our 3D print facility looks like. It's a go big or go home situation there too. So at this point, we've got to make it work. But we're excited. It's just like anything else, it takes longer and costs more.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're going to make it work, and it's going to be really neat.
We mentioned a lot of shows. You mentioned nationals more than once here, talking about the 3D stuff. Let's pivot over to this other show that's coming up about a year from now.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
turning into another big hairy deal, just like your 3D print action there.
Okay. Well, I guess you're talking about the Chattanooga Model Con Eagle
I
Quest.
am.
All
I'm
right.
looking
Well,
looking forward to it.
we are too. So the Chattanooga Scale Modelers is a model club here in the Chattanooga area. And they got started actually back in 1988. I believe Lynn Petty is the guy that started the club.
It is. I knew Lynn at the time.
You know Lynn. Okay, well,
Yep.
he's a great guy. He's still a part of the club, and I guess I don't know. I mean, I was 3 at the time, so
Yeah, rub it in.
I was definitely not a part of the club at that time, but they started at some point down the road after that. They started having their swap meet that turned into a model show, and they had that for many years. And in 2013, I believe is the year, the show moved from, I believe they were in a church at the time, but they decided to move their show to the downtown convention center in Chattanooga.
Which is beautiful.
It is. And when they made that move, they changed the name, or, well, I don't even know if the show had a name, to be honest with you. It might have. But in 2013, the name of the show became ModelCon. And they ran that show every year after that, with the exception of one year that it got snowed out, and I forget what year that was. And then in 2019, the club had the opportunity to host the IPMS National Convention in Chattanooga, and that was a nice show.
And put on one of the best nationals. And I've been to a lot of nationals.
Okay.
It's about 30, and Chattanooga got to be in my top 3. It was
Okay.
a fantastic show.
Well, yeah, I got to agree with you. I'm a little partial, but right here in the backyard. So that's a little, the 30-second history of the Chattanooga Model Con. Now the Eagle Quest, that was Squadron's show out in Texas.
Yeah.
And that show actually originated in St. Louis. It was VLS, Verlinden. It was VLS's show
Yep.
called MasterCon.
Yep. Which Mike and
Now,
I have both attended back in the day.
really? Okay. Okay. Well, that show started, I believe, in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2000, and give or take a year here, Dave, I should have this in front of me, but I don't. When Squadron purchased VLS somewhere in the 2005 ballpark,
Mm-hmm.
the show MasterCon came along with, it was a package deal. They bought the
Right.
company, they got the show. Well, instead of running the show in St. Louis, they decided to run the show in the Dallas area where Squadron was located. And then they changed the name from MasterCon to Eagle Quest. So the show continued under the name Eagle Quest until 2019 was the very last Eagle Quest. They did not know at the time that was going to be the last Eagle Quest, but it got canceled in 2020 for other reasons. And then by the time it came around in 2021, the business had closed down and been sold to some guys over here in Georgia. Um, and the interesting thing was in 2022, when we were in Texas for the IPMS National, Russ, my dad, was there representing the MMD side of the business. And the guys from Tamiya asked him, said, "Hey, when are y'all going to bring Eagle Quest back?" If we kind of looked at him crazy, like, "What are you talking about?" It's like we had not even thought of that.
Slow
And
down.
they
We just bought Squadron.
pretty
Right.
much, something like that. But they said, "Well, when you do, not if, but when you do, we'll be there to support it, and we'll be in attendance, and it's gonna be great." We're like, "It's kinda interesting, why would Tamiya wanna come support a local show?" Not that they wouldn't want to, but, I mean, they got bigger
Right.
fish to fry. And they got back to them that we were talking that way, and they came up to us and said, "No, no, no, no. Eagle Quest was not just a local show. It was a big deal." So we said, "Okay." Well, we kinda always had that in the back of our mind, but we had a lot of other things to do, a lot of
Like 3D
bridges to
printing.
rebuild. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, this past year at the Chattanooga Model Con, we we got, I mean, we've always been a part of that club just because it's right here.
Right.
Yeah, but we really decided, let's see if we can do a little marketing and push some people towards the show and see what happens. And we started doing that a month or so before the show, just helping them with marketing a little bit. And the show's always been good, and it always grows a little bit each year. But this year in particular, it's like there was no space. It was slam packed with people in there. The general admission was off the charts. I mean, they had something like over 600, if I remember correctly, general admission coming. They ran out of tickets at the
Nice.
general admission table.
That's the problem you want to have.
It is, and so it was really, really good. Lots of people. So we said, "Look, let's talk to them." So we talked to the club president about potentially doing a joint show together, because our problem with Eagle Quest was, we know the vendors, because Dad sells to a lot of the vendors as MMD. We know that side of it. We know the exhibitor side. I mean, Tamiya already said they'll be there,
Right.
but we don't have the time or the resources to run a model contest.
But you've got
So
a club with long experience.
exactly, exactly. So and the club meets at our shop. So it's kind of like the club's kind of like a big family, probably like a lot of clubs are.
Yeah, exactly.
And anyway, so it worked out to where we're going to do this joint show. We're bringing the name Eagle. As soon as we attached the name Eagle Quest to it, all of a sudden people start coming out of the woodworks all around the country, just excited that Eagle Quest is back. And it's really looking like it's going to be a pretty cool event. We're a year out, or 11 months out now, and they have already sold out of all 250 vendor tables.
Nice.
Wow.
So and it's gonna be at the convention center, but the Model Con show prior to this coming year has always been in the ballrooms.
Right.
It's not We were already out of space there. So we're gonna move it down the hall to the exhibit halls where the 2019 Nationals were
Right.
held.
And that's the
So
beauty of that convention center is that you can expand out as because they've got tons of space. So you can expand out as you need to.
Oh, yeah, they've got tons of space. There are tons of hotels in the area. In fact, 3 of the hotels have already given us, block room rates, for the show. So if
Nice.
you go over to www.model-con, con, model-con.com, you can see all the information for the show. There's even a countdown clock on the front page. It says 324 days and 15 hours left for the show. You'll scroll down, you'll see the exhibitors showcase. Of course, Plastic Model Mojo is listed there because I believe you guys are the official podcast of the show.
Oh, appreciate you
Uh,
reminding me of
oh yeah,
that.
yeah.
Proud to be so.
There you go. But it's going to be really neat. I know that the club's they've got the exhibitors listed on the front page now, like Tamiya and Atlantis and Airfix. And you guys, these are the exhibitors are the companies or brands that are going to be there, just representing their brand, not necessarily selling things.
Right.
And then there'll be a complete vendors list listed at some point. I know they're trying to work all that out now. But it's going to be really neat. If you go into the hotel sections, if you've never been to the downtown Chattanooga area, it's really, really cool. When we were back in Ellijay looking for somewhere to move to that would be better for business, I mean, there's lots of big towns around here, Atlanta, one of the biggest,
Right.
but Chattanooga is just such a great town. Every time we would take the kids and or the family or go do something on the weekends, a lot of choices around. We always ended up in Chattanooga just because it's just a really neat place. So if you went to the 19 Nationals, you know what I'm talking
I
about.
know exactly what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah, lots of cool hotels and
It is one of the most walkable downtowns you'll find.
oh
You
yeah,
can you
absolutely.
there's a car museum, there's restaurants out the wazoo, there what, like 5 hotels within a block or 2 blocks of the convention center. Yeah, it's amazing.
It really is. It's neat, and I mean, you've got the Chattanooga Choo Choo down there. You've got the Wrecker Museum.
Yep.
The
Lookout Mountain, the Chickamauga Battlefield.
Yep,
Yep.
I
yep.
could go on and on. Rock City, go see Rock City.
Go see Rock City. That's right.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people that I respect in the industry for what they build that are going to be head judges in different places. Well, our ship head judge out in California, I was talking to him today, and he says, "Hey, how far is Smoky Mountain National Park from there?" I said, "It's like 2 hours or something." He says, "I think I'm going to come a couple days early so I can go see that." I mean, there's just, if you've never been to this part of the country, it's just got a lot of really, really cool stuff to see, especially from a scenic point of view.
The Smoky Mountain National Park, my wife and I and our family, we've vacationed there a half dozen times and we keep going back. It's a little slice of heaven.
Oh yeah, it's really neat. I mean, so it's going to be a really, really nice place. It's going to be the week or the weekend after Easter next year, April 2, 3, and 4. So, I mean, the weather's going to be perfect. It's just going to be a nice place. Now, if I may, I'll tell you the way this show works is it is a gold, silver, bronze style of judging.
Gotcha.
And most people kind of know what that means now, but for those that don't, we will be posting. Our head judge, Rob, is going to be doing some videos and some kind of teaching you, if you will, how our contest works. And he'll probably start that sometime in the next couple of months. But point is, everybody that's planning on coming to the contest will be very aware of how our contest works before they ever get here. But there's going to be all sorts of cool categories on that website I told you about. You'll be able to see up at the contest link aircraft, armor, automotive, ships, figures, science fiction, factual space vehicles. And I believe that's the category that you guys are sponsoring.
Yep.
Mike,
Yes.
you're pretty into that, aren't you?
Pretty into that. It's kept me busy
He's
since AMPS, that's for sure.
he's about to shoot something up to the International Space Station if the weather will cooperate.
Well, it's going to be neat to see that because like that, and then we have a trains category. Within the figures category, we have like dinosaurs, for example, is its own category. Some of these categories that are usually bunched up either in sci-fi or in miscellaneous, they're going to get their own categories. And you might say, well, with gold, silver, bronze, why does it matter? You could theoretically have one category for everything. And
Right.
that is true. But what we're going to do is, for example, aircraft. You're going to have prop driven small scale and prop driven large scale. Well, there's going to be a best small scale prop driven award given out. And then there's going to be a best aircraft overall, in
Right.
addition to the best in show overall. So there's going to be a lot of different levels to shoot for in your model building.
And I've always thought trains was a category that should exist at a lot of larger model shows
Right.
because what we do and what the train modelers do have so much overlap. I mean, Mike and I know a number of our modeling friends who are also train modelers. Mike has been as well. And those techniques are bleeding over into that hobby and then therefore coming back toward us, and I
Right.
think that's a great idea.
Well, the interesting thing about it is the NMRA, the National Model Railroad Association, they're actually based out of Saudi Daisy, which is just north of
Yep.
Chattanooga.
Yeah,
And they're actually having their national convention here in town this year. But besides, you say trains and our minds go to HO scale or Engage or Lionel or whatever. But in reality, even in our IPMS and AMPS world,
yep,
there are so many railroad items. I mean, think about the 35th scale locomotives from that Trumpeter produces,
Yeah.
or even my favorite, the big Doro railgun.
railgun,
Uh,
yeah.
all those kind of things that, and the flak cars and all these things that you see that are usually thrown into the rest of the armor, giving these guys their own category. We're hoping that it'll draw some modelers out. Mike, we're talking about the real space vehicles.
Yeah.
Usually that stuff is thrown in the mix with the sci-fi.
Often it is,
Well,
you're right. Yeah.
yeah, and if I'm a real space modeler, I'm building real subjects. I don't want to go take my stuff and stick it in the sci-fi and compete against the Millennium Falcon. So having these categories for these guys, I think is going to be a really cool thing. We've got a category specific to the wargaming crowd. We've got a category specific to the gunpla, the Gundam crowd.
Mm-hmm.
One of our sayings, if you will, is if you glue it or snap it together and paint it, it's welcome at this show, and we're going to try to have a class for you. And I hope that that's going to be a big deal for some people.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I've got it circled on the calendar next year already.
Yep. Are the room blocks open yet?
They are. They just opened in the last day or two. So
Okay.
the Marriott, we've got room blocks there. We've got room blocks at the Staybridge Suites, which is at the opposite end of the hotel of the convention center, and then the Chattanoogan, which is just behind the convention center. They've opened up a block of rooms as well.
No, I'm looking at the site now, and then there's like about 10 others that are within walking distance. So,
oh yeah, there's so many hotels down there.
Yep.
And before we get off of it, if I may, I got to tell you about one of my favorite parts of the contest, the Masters class. So at the original MasterCon,
Yep.
and then into Eagle Quest, the whole contest was judged by the modelers. It was basically a popular vote by the modelers. If you entered the contest, you got a ballot to vote for your favorite model, and that's how they picked the winners. Well, we want to do that. This will kind of tie old Eagle Quest into new Eagle Quest. We want to do that in the master class. And to enter the master class, the model entered has to have won the best of in a category or the best of show at a previous show. It can be any show. It can be the AMPS Nationals, the IPMS Nationals, Wonderfest, one of the old Master Cons from 30 years ago. If your model has won the best and it's, basically retired now, we would like you to bring it out of retirement and come and compete again.
That's a great idea. I really like that idea.
Because what happens is these models win at these shows.
And then you never see them again.
Exactly. So if we can get these guys to bring these, and what they're going to be competing for in this master class is if you've seen pictures of old Eagle Quest and they're almost 1-to-1 scale Eagle trophy.
Yep.
That's coming back, or a variation of it. It won't be the exact same one. We're going to make a little modern day Squadron version of it, if you will.
Gotcha.
It'll be cool.
Mike and I have both seen that original award in person at one time or another.
Then you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So the big one is going to go to the winner overall in the master class, but we're going to have miniature versions of it that are going to go to the best aircraft, armor, automotive ships, figures, sci-fi, and diorama and miscellaneous of the master class too. So we're really, really hoping that the master class is a big turnout, because some of these guys, they don't compete anymore because, like, for example, in AMPS, once you become a master in AMPS, you can't compete anymore because you're a master.
Right.
And they do the same kind of thing at Wonderfest. They do a lot of that at a lot of shows. And some guys simply just don't compete anymore because they've won the best of the best over and over again. And they just, I've got a lot of friends that say, I don't want to compete anymore because I've been there, I've done that, I've won everything there is to win, and it's somebody else's turn now. Well, this class, this is for you. I want the best of the best of the best to come and compete, whether it's a model that's won it all or whether you're a master that has won it all and you've got a new model to compete with. We're really hoping that it turns into something. It'll just be so cool to see, the cream of the crop, if you will, all together and on one table on a display.
Well, we're really looking forward to this, and we're happy with our involvement with it. And I'm sure this is going to come up in the months ahead on Plastic Model Mojo.
Yes,
and,
it will.
We'll keep promoting the show and really look forward to it, man. I'm going to get a hotel room booked.
Get that done, Mike.
I'll get that done.
There you go.
Well, Brandon, thanks for joining us again. I know it's taken us a little time to get this together, but we've talked about the things I wanted to talk about, and look
Okay.
forward to supporting you and the show, and look forward to the next time we see you, man, which is going to be at Wonderfest.
Absolutely. Yeah, 2 weeks away. So looking forward to seeing you guys. We'll hopefully have a little bit more time to say hello than we did in Amps.
We did
You
pretty
got
good
it.
at Amps at the hotel that night, but
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had dinner. You are. Well,
Yep.
hey, but we talked about things a little bit outside of models.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
it was nice. It was
we
just
did.
a couple of guys hanging out together. That was a nice time.
That's something that Mike and I emphasize all the time about trying to get people to go to shows, because you find yourself starting to talk about models, and then you find out you've got all sorts of other common interests.
Yep.
And you do spend a lot of your time talking about stuff other than modeling.
Yep,
So
that is true.
I encourage everybody go to shows, and particularly start planning to go to Eagle Quest.
Well, we're looking forward to it for sure. But well, we will see you guys in a couple of weeks. I look forward to seeing you again.
All right,
You got
Brandon.
it.
You take care.
All right, buddy.
Oh man, there's a lot there. I'm
There is.
wanting to see what the 3D print has in store here at the National Convention. Hope all his gears mesh and he can pull that off and have some new stuff to show people, because I know the stuff we saw at Amps was really cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, every time we talk to Brandon, he's got an enthusiasm that is just infectious. I mean, he really has an enthusiasm for the hobby, and you can't help when you're talking to him but get excited yourself. And I'll tell you, I'm really excited for Eagle Quest.
The co-hosting there with the Chattanooga Club was a great idea. It's a great town for a show. I can't wait
It
either.
is.
And I'm really looking forward to our little piece of that puzzle and promoting it and be front and center in the exhibition area when the thing finally comes around. So,
Yep.
Folks, mark that date off on your calendar and start planning to be there, because he's putting it all behind this. So we want to help make it a big success so it'll keep going.
Go make a hotel reservation now before they sell out.
Like the vendor tables already have, apparently.
Exactly.
Well, Dave, we'll be back in a few days, and folks can hear episode 163. But until then, man, we both need to get to the bench so we can populate that Benchtop Halftime Report segment.
You got it. Go model.